represents Kazakh Invest, and we will start the webinar. Thank you very much, Dana. Thank you very much, Dana. We are pleased to welcome you on our webinar session on renewable energy auctions 2019, which is held in collaboration with our respective colleagues, Ministry of Energy, UNDP, USAID, Financial Settlement Center, and we are very thankful to PwC for hosting us today. My name is Aliya Selimjvarova. I'm a project manager at Kazakh Invest, who is responsible for power sector. The purpose of today's webinar is very important because it's concerned with the renewable energy sources. And in frames of this webinar, we would like to give an in-depth overview of the renewable energy auctions 2019. So please give me a chance to give the floor to our respective speaker from Ministry of Energy, Mr. Abay Kulanbay, who is the head of Renewable Energy Department.
Добрый день, уважаемые участники, слушатели сегодняшнего вебинара.
Good afternoon, dear participants of this webinar.
Уже со следующего понедельника у нас начинается аукционные торги этого года.
As of next Monday, we will start the auctions for the year 2019.
Сперва я вам расскажу коротко о нашей стране, по общей характеристике, а также по энергетическим данным.
And in the first place, I would like to brief you about Kazakhstan, about its characteristics and energy sector.
У нас проживает порядка 18 миллионов человек.
Our population is around 18 million.
По территории мы занимаем 9-е место в мире, и в части резервирования и получения земельного участка, думаю, у вас проблем не будет.
And our territory is ranked as 9th globally, and I believe that there will be no problems with the land reserve and acquisition.
ВВП Казахстана составляет порядка 134 миллиарда долларов, и на душу населения порядка 700 тысяч долларов.
And the GDP of our country is around 134 billion US dollars, and per capita is 7,500 US dollars.
Общая генерация энергосистемы у нас оценивается установленной мощностью порядка 22 гигаватта и располагаемая 19 гигаватт. 22 гигаватт.
So the generating capacity of our country is 22 gigawatt, and rated capacity is 22 gigawatt as well.
Если в структуре смотреть, тогда основными занимает у нас теплоэлектростанция, включая газотурбины, порядка 86%, гидроэлектростанции свыше 35 мегаватт 11% и доля ВИА 2,2%.
And in overall, we have CHPs, of which gas-based power plants are 86%, hydro is around 35 megawatt, which accounts for 11%, and renewables are around 2%.
Протяженность национальных электрических сетей порядка 27 тысяч километров, и из них 220 и выше киловатт линий протяжения относятся к системному оператору АО «Кибок», и до 100 киловатт это региональные электросетевые компании.
And the length of our power lines is 27,000 kilometers, of which with the voltage of 220 and plus kilowatt belong to system operator, and those lines up to 100 kilowatt are operated by the regional electric power networks.
В прошлом году у нас в стране было произведено порядка 107 миллиардов киловатт-час, и из них 1,3 миллиардов это доля возобновляемой энергетики, и в процентном соотношении тоже порядка 1,3%.
And last year, our country has produced 107 billion kilowatt per hour, of which 1.3 billion kilowatt per hour was by the renewables, which in the percentage will be 1.3% of total output.
По ресурсному потенциалу возобновляемой энергетики у нас потенциал весьма значительный. В принципе, произведены оценки ресурсного потенциала по ветровому и солнечному энергетику. И они составляют ветровой порядка 920 миллиардов киловатт-час в год. Солнечные в южных регионах достигают 3000 часов в год. И технически возможный гидропотенциал оценивается порядка 62 миллиарда киловатт-часов в год.
Well, in terms of resource potential of renewable energy in Kazakhstan is quite high, and we have made some estimates in terms of wind and solar capacity. So the solar energy is around 920 billion kilowatt hours per year. Solar energy, predominantly in southern regions is around 3,000 solar hours per year, and the hydro technical capacity is accounted for 62 billion kilowatt per hour per year.
Ресурсным потенциалом более детально можете ознакомиться на сайте расчетно-финансового центра. Там по ветровому и солнечному атласу есть более детальная информация.
And in terms of more detailed information you can refer to the website of the Financial Settlement Center, where you can see the wind and solar atlas or a map with all the relevant information on it.
С 2013 года у нас принята концепция перехода Республики Казахстан к зеленой экономике, и в рамках этого приняты конкретные целевые индикаторы по увеличению доли возобновляемой энергетики в общей генерации. Это 3% к 2020 году, 6% к 2025 году и 10% к 2030 году.
Извините, 5% к 2025
Да.
и 10% к 2030. So in 2013, Kazakhstan has adopted a concept of transition to the green economy, where the target indicators were set to increase the renewable share in the generating capacities. So the targets which were set are as follows: 3% of renewable by 2020, 5% of renewables by 2025, and 10% by 2030.
В целях достижения указанных индикаторов в нашей стране проект ВИА планомерно развивается и на текущий момент составляет порядка 833 мегаватт установленной мощности и работает 78 действующих объектов.
Well, in terms of achieving these targets, we are moving gradually, and to date we have 833 megawatts of installed capacity, around 78 projects.
В основном это солнечные станции 400 мегаватт, ветровые гидроэлектростанции порядка 200 мегаватт.
And they are predominantly solar power plants for 400 megawatt, and wind and hydro account for 200 megawatt.
С 2009 года у нас успешно работает закон о поддержке ВИА, и в рамках закона предусмотрены ряд мер поддержки.
And since 2019, we have enacted a law on renewables with relevant support measures from the government.
Первое – это отбор проектов по аукционному торгу и предоставление аукционных цен. Второе – предоставление указанных тарифов сроком на 15 лет. И третье – ежегодная индексация указанных тарифов с учетом инфляции и изменения курса валют.
And we have the auction-based approach to price setting, and the tariffs which would be offered should be valid for 15 years at least. And also we have another preference is that the tariffs will be indexed against the inflation rate and any volatility in currency exchange.
Четвертое – это бесплатная транспортировка электроэнергии ВИА. Пятое приоритетная диспетчеризация электроэнергии ВИА. Получается, компания ВИА в части балансирования электроэнергии все работы ведутся расчетно-финансовым центром и коллаборацией. И шестое – это предоставление дополнительных инвестиционных преференций в рамках предпринимательского кодекса. Это освобождение от налогов, таможен. Это приоритетная диспетчеризация.
So also another measures of support provided under the law are the free transmission of the produced electricity. Then number 5 is prioritization of dispatching the electricity produced by renewable sources, and then the companies which produce electricity from renewable sources, they are released or exempted from paying the services of the power grids on electricity transfer. And also we have the investment preferences according to the relevant laws.
Следующий слайд – это аукционные торги. С прошлого года, в принципе, успешно проводим указанные торги. Все законодательная база, график проведения аукционных торгов на текущий год и стартовые цены, в принципе, утверждены.
And as of last year, we have successfully arranged a number of auctions, and all the relevant regulatory framework is in place with the schedule of auctions for this year, and also the starting prices were set for this year as well.
В прошлом году аукционные торги мы провели на 1000 мегаватт установленной мощности. По итогам торгов отобрали 36 проектов на суммарную мощность 857 мегаватт.
And last year we had the auctions for 1000 megawatt of installed capacity, which can be divided into 36 projects. 36 projects were selected with a total capacity of 857 megawatt.
Участвовали 113 компаний из 9 стран, и по итогам аукционных торгов 30 компаний подписали расчетно-финансовым центром договор покупки на 804 мегаватт установленной мощности.
And 113 companies from 9 countries participated in the auctions, and 30 companies eventually signed the offtake contract with the Financial Settlement Center for 804 megawatt.
Также произошло снижение цен по солнечному в среднем 35%, по гидро и ветер 23%.
And also we notice the price decline in terms of solar by 35% and hydro and wind by 23%.
В этом году мы будем проводить аукционные торги на установленную мощность 255 мегаватт.
This year we're going to have auctions for the installed capacity of 255 megawatt.
Уже по некоторым торгам на сегодня уже регистрация на базе электронной площадки КРМ уже закрыта.
For some bids, the registration is already closed on the electronic platform of CRM company.
В принципе, я думаю, что все участники, в принципе, об этом знают. И сейчас остается у нас, получается, предоставление документов. Вы можете еще успеть на солнечную электростанцию, которая будет 24 сентября, и на гидроэлектростанцию, которая будет 25 сентября.
And actually, applicants are aware of these developments, and you can still have some time to submit for the auctions on solar that will take place on the 24th of September and for hydro on 25th.
А также аукционную торговую документацию, которая будет проводиться 27 ноября текущего года.
And also some auctions that will be arranged on the 27th of November with the documents.
Следующий слайд – это допуск к аукционным торгам. Основные моменты – это первое, для участия в аукционных торгах потребуется первое учредительные документы компании, второе – это тех условия на подключение к электрическим сетям. Здесь получается, если у вас предполагаемая мощность превышает 5 мегаватт, тогда дополнительно вы должны предоставить в АО КРМ письмо системного оператора о согласовании схемы выдачи мощности. И третье – это предоставление документов, подтверждающих, что у вас есть земельный участок.
And in order to get access to auctions, you need to be eligible. And the requirements include the statutory documents, articles of association. Then the second requirement is to provide the technical specification of connection to the grids. And if your offer will exceed 5 megawatt capacity, then you need to get an additional letter from the Quorum company on the offtake, for offtake.
В случае у вас есть, если нету земельного участка этих, именно в тех торгах, где предусмотрены земельные участки и технические условия, зарезервированные министерством.
And the last requirement is to have the allotted land plot, technical specification, or a reserved land plot. You can participate in the auctions in which the specification and land is already reserved by the Ministry of Energy.
Далее, второй этап, вы должны будете предоставить финансовое обеспечение в адрес расчета финансового центра. И третье, должны заключать договор с организатором аукционных торгов.
And the next requirement is to have the financial security to the name of the Financial Settlement Center. And another requirement is to have an agreement with the auction organizer.
После этого проходите регистрацию и получаете доступ в торговую систему.
And then you will be registered and provided with an access to the trading system, auction system.
У нас в части предоставления земельных участков, а также получения технических условий на подключение регламентируется земельным кодексом, а также электросетевыми правилами и правилами технической эксплуатации электрических станций и сетей. И в связи с этим просим руководствоваться этими документами.
So, in terms of the technical specification and the land issues, you need to be governed by the land code and relevant documents related to the construction and connection to the grid, which are issued by relevant authorities. So, please be guided by those documents in your process.
По итогам аукционных торгов победители в адрес расчетного финансового центра финобеспечения на исполнение условий договора это 10 тысяч тенге за киловатт.
So the winner has to provide the Financial Settlement Center with the guarantee amounting to 10,000 tenge per kilowatt hour.
В течение 60 календарных дней с момента включения в перечень энергопроизводящих организаций должны направить заявку на заключение договора в адрес расчетного финансового центра.
And this 10,000 tenge per kilowatt hour is collateral or a security of enforcement of the agreement. Then within 60 days after being registered, the winner has to enter into agreement with the Financial Settlement Center.
Соблюсти сроки начала строительства объекта в зависимости от вида возобновляемой энергетики.
And depending on the type of renewable, the winner or contractor has to comply with the relevant deadlines.
Для солнечной электростанции это 12 месяцев, для ветровой и био 18 месяцев и для гидро 24 месяца.
And for solar, the deadline to begin the construction of power plant is 12 months. For the wind and bio energy is 18 months, and for hydro is 24 months.
С даты подписания договора.
Since the signing of the agreement.
А также это ввести в эксплуатацию объекта в сроки для солнечных это 2 года, для ветра и био 3 года и для гидроэлектростанции 4 года.
And there is another deadline that the contractor has to comply with. It is about commissioning of the power plant. For solar, it will be 24 months after the contract was signed. For wind and biomass, it is 36 months after signing the agreement, and for hydro is 48 months as of date of the agreement.
Аукционным торгам, правилам покупки и продажи и соответствующие договора по аукционным ценам мы провели работу по изменению этих правил.
This year we have made some amendments to the relevant documents, be it regulations or offtake agreements.
Основные изменения это первое. Для компании ВИА предоставляем дополнительные нормы. Это получается, компании могут защитить свои права не только в казахстанских судах, но и в международных судах. Это международный арбитраж в лице Международного финансового центра МФЦ.
Another provision that would support the interest of the companies which generate electricity from renewables is that they can protect their rights not only in Kazakhstan but also under the international arbitration within the framework of International Financial Center of Astana.
Второе – это возможность передачи прав на прямое управление проектом Step and Rights. Это, получается, основные требования международных финансовых институтов, где мы, в принципе, предусмотрели.
And the next protection for the contractor is to have the step-in rights. So it's a direct transfer of the project. And this was based on requirement by most international financial institutions that we put in place.
Ввели аукционные торги с документацией, которые я до этого отметил, что оно состоится 27 ноября, 50 мегаватт в Туркестанской области.
And also we provided an opportunity for document-based auctions. The first one will take place on the 27th capacity in Turkestan region.
И для биогазовых станций мы требования к конкуренции при отборе проектов пересмотрели и для них более упростили.
And for biogas providers, we make it more competitive and revisited the regulations for those.
В целом у меня все. Далее коллеги, в принципе, дополнят в части аукционных торгов с документацией более детально рассказывают. Вопросы будут, в принципе, готов.
So actually, I'm done with my presentation, and I believe my colleagues will comment more on the auction system and the documents. And should you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Will be introduced. It's a project auctions or auctions with documentation. And today we have with us the representative of UNDP-GEF project, the risk in renewable energy investment, Mr. Yerlan Derbekov. He'll share with us his views on the project, and please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, webinar participants. I would like to say thank you and express my attitudes to organize these webinars, to PwC, to Kazakh Invest, and other stakeholders as well, KREM, RFC, Minister of Energy. And as Alia already mentioned, this is a joint, I'm a project expert of a joint project with UNDP Kazakhstan office and Minister of Energy, the risk in renewable energy investment. And this project is 100% funded by GAF, Global Environmental Facility, and aiming of, as I already mentioned, to de-risk renewable energy investment in Kazakhstan. So in the frame of our project, we conduct a pre-feasibility study of 50 megawatt solar power project, which will be auctioned in this year in November 27. And pre-feasibility study already conducted and available for downloading and inspection to potential investors. So this is just a brief introduction of what we already did. The site is located between Chimkent and Turkestan cities in the south part of Kazakhstan, and it is 100 hectares of total square meters, and it is fully the site itself fully belong to the local government, and already reserved for this special purposes to construct a solar power plant. You can see on this slide the coordinates, geographical coordinates of the site, and it is, as I already said, belong to local Akimat, local governments. This way. Just okay. You can see on this slide existing infrastructure of the site, and you can see the red line is planned overhead line to feed the electricity from the site, from the power plant to the national grid. It is planned to construct 100 kV overhead line, and the grid connection study is already done and negotiated and approved by national operator and regional utility company as well. And technical condition for feed electricity to the grid, it is already granted and approved. Next slide, please. You can see performance curve on this slide. It was simulated by a special program, PVSYST, and you can see that overall production will be around 84.3 million kilowatt hour per year. It is the P50, and performance ratio will be 86.4% a year. You can see the measures was conducted during the preparation of the feasibility study. Topographic survey of the site, preliminary environmental impact assessment, including public hearing, assessment of potential, conceptual solution and design of system, of connections, etc., as well as other measurements. So next slide. So this is just example. Excuse me. This is just example of equipment based on which the feasibility study was conducted. You can see the panels, top 3 Chinese panels and inverters. The next slide. So this is this measure on environmental impact assessment. Just during the construction of solar power plant, assessment to the environment is negligible because of the solar power plant itself. And next slide, please. And you can see this slide overall project indicators, installed capacity. Раз. Нет? Раз. Раз. Слышно? Excuse me, dear participant, there was some technical problem with connection. So let me continue. Next slide, please. Next slide. And also, just to skip. Еще можно, еще. Сразу последний. Да. So, dear participants, you can see at this slide directory where the feasibility study can be downloaded. This is a via.current.kz, and contact of representative of general contractor, and my contact as well, to discuss and to, if you have some questions or comments in terms of feasibility study, to answer you. And moreover, we invited you for site visiting at the 30th of September this year to see the site at Savaldir village between Shymkent and Turkestan. The program is already available for downloaded at the same directory, same site. Да, Джон? Программа уже доступна уже? Yes, the program is already available for downloading and for booking tickets and to visit, to make a site visit. Thanks again, and welcome to Kazakhstan. Please join to auction.
Thank you so much, Yurlan. Dear participants, if you have any questions, please write them down. And by the end of this webinar session, we will try to answer your questions. Now, let me please pass the word to Mr. Yerzhan Salkhanov. He is a representative of the Kazakhstan electricity and power market operator, who is actually the main stakeholder who is responsible for organizing and holding the auctions. Mr. Yerjan Salkhanov, he's head of centralized trade department of Корем. So, please.
Спасибо. Меня зовут Ержан Салханов. Я представляю АО «Корем», организатор аукционных торгов по отбору проекта ВИИ.
So, good afternoon. My name is Yerjan Salkhanov. I represent the Корем Joint Stock Company, the project on a selection of renewables projects for auctions.
Для участия в аукционных торгах вам необходимо изучить график аукционных торгов.
So before participating in any auction, you have to know the schedule of our auctions.
Пройти регистрацию на сайте организатора и заключить договор.
So you need to be registered on the website of the organizer and have a contract.
Оплатить услуги организатора.
Pay for the organizer's services.
Внести финансовое обеспечение заявки.
And you need to also deposit the financial security for the application you're forwarding.
Участвовать в аукционных торгах и стать победителем в аукционных торгах.
And also you need to participate in the auction and become the winner of the auction.
После того, как вы стали победителем аукционных торгов, Министерство энергетики размещает вас в план размещения объектов ВИИ и перечень энергопроизводящих организаций по ВИИ.
And after you are awarded a contract, the Ministry of Energy will put you into the action plan or plan of the entities that will generate the electricity from renewables.
Затем вы должны заключить договор с ТОР РПЦ и внести финансовое обеспечение договора.
Also, you need to enter into agreement with the financial settlement center and deposit the security for the agreement.
Ну и также обеспечить своевременный ввод в эксплуатацию объекта ВИИ.
And you also need to timely commission the facility you are going to build.
Так, по каждой позиции я остановлюсь подробно.
So I will brief you on each item.
График проведения аукционных торгов утверждается приказом министра энергетики и не подлежит изменению.
The schedule of auctions is being approved by the Ministry of Energy and it is not subject to any change.
То есть, если график утвердился в начале года, то вы можете смело готовиться к тем датам аукционных торгов, обозначенные в графике. Эти даты не будут изменяться.
So if you see the schedule of auctions approved from the beginning of the year, you can be sure to select the dates of auctions because those will never be changed.
А в текущем году, согласно графику, министерство разыгрывает 255 мегаватт установленной мощности.
And for the year 2019, we have the schedule for 255 megawatts of installed capacity.
Так, для того, чтобы зарегистрироваться, вам нужно будет зайти на сайт организатора korem.kz.
So in order to be registered with the system, you need to visit the website of the organizer, korem.kz.
Зайти в раздел регистрации.
To go or tap on.
Загрузить документы.
So you need to upload documents.
Это правоустанавливающие документы.
So articles of association.
Ну и также, если здесь в связи с тем, что у нас в текущем году внесли изменения в правила, необходимо определиться, вы будете пользоваться землей, точкой подключения, которую указана в графике, либо вы используете свою точку подключения, свою землю.
And then, as we have amended the rules this year, you need to choose whether you use the land and connection point that was established before, or you are going to use the land and connection point that you have on your own.
Итак, если вы используете свою точку подключения, свой земельный участок, то вы должны загрузить документы по земельному участку и документы по точке подключения.
So if you are going to use your own plot of land and the connection point, you need to upload relevant document that would acknowledge that.
Как до этого говорил представитель министерства, если вы используете свою точку подключения, то вы должны загрузить технические условия. И если вы планируете реализовать проект более 5 мегаватт, то вы должны загрузить письмо согласования системного оператора по схеме выдачи мощности.
And as the representative of the Ministry of Energy mentioned, if you are going to use your own plot of land and connection point, you need to also upload the technical specification, subject to the fact that if your capacity will be more than 5 megawatts, then you need to have a letter of approval from the system operator on offtake.
Иностранные заявители загружают аналогичные документы, переведенные на государственные русские языки, засвидетельствованные нотариально.
And those participants from abroad, they need to have their documents to be translated into the Russian and Kazakh languages, and those documents should also be notarized.
Так, я хотел бы рассказать по поводу, как у нас проходит торговый день.
So I would like to explain how the trading day is taking place.
Для аукцион у нас начинается с 2 часов по времени Нур-Султан.
2 часа дня, да?
Да, да, да.
So the auction starts at 2 p.m. Of Nur-Sultan time.
До 2 часов идет подготовительная работа.
So before 2 p.m. some preparatory works are ongoing.
Расчетный финансовый центр до 12 часов предоставляет нам список, запечатанный в конверте, список заявителей с финансовым обеспечением.
And before noon, the Financial Settlement Center will provide us with the closed envelopes with the names of applicants.
Так, в час...
Имена заявителей и финансовое обеспечение.
Финансовое обеспечение.
So list of applicants, list of names of applicants, and those who apply with financial security.
В час 30 собираются наблюдатели.
At 1:30 p.m. the observers will take their seats.
Присутствие наблюдателя вскрывается конверт, предоставленный расчетным финансовым центром.
In the presence of those observers, the submitted envelopes will be opened up.
Эти данные вносятся в торговую систему оператором.
This data will be introduced into the trading system by the operator.
Ну и, как я уговорил, в 2 часа открываются торги. Торги у нас проходят, есть основное время, это час торговой системы, и с возможностью продления до 15:00.
So, as I said before, the auction starts at 2 p.m. sharp with the main time frame of 1 hour with the extension up to 3 p.m.
В связи с тем, что также, как внесено измененными правилами, у нас в этом году торговая сессия, основное время это у нас час.
And due to the amendments to the rules, the main trading session is 1 hour.
И в случае поступления в торговую последние 5 минут основного времени заявкой с наименьшей ценой, что имеется в торговой системе, торговая сессия продлевается еще на 5 минут.
And if 5 minutes prior to the closing of the trading session, the applicant submits a price which will be lower than that is registered with the system, then the session will be prolonged for yet another 5 minutes.
Так, что содержится в заявке участников?
So what the applicant's request should consist of?
В заявке участника содержится наименование участника.
So it should be the name of the applicant.
Цена электрической энергии за 1 киловатт-час без НДС.
The price per kilowatt hour without VAT.
Объем установленной мощности не менее 100 киловатт и кратное 1 киловатту-часу.
And the installed capacity of 100 kilowatt. 1 киловатт это что, извините?
1 киловатт это кратность. И кратное 1.
Frequency. And with the frequency of at least 1 kilowatt.
Так, минимально допустимый объем установленной мощности.
With the minimum installed capacity.
Подключение к электрической сети.
And the information about the plot of land and the connection to the grid.
То есть при регистрации, когда вы загружаете свою точку подключения и свою землю, она будет базироваться, то есть она садится в базу торговой системы.
So whenever you register with the system, the information about the land and connection point will be saved in the trading system.
Также в заявке содержится вид и сумма финансового обеспечения.
Also, the application should contain the type and amount of the financial security.
Так, теперь хотел рассказать по поводу условий подачи заявки.
So I would like to explain the application procedure.
Условием подачи заявки является цена, указанная в заявках, не может превышать предельных аукционных цен.
And the procedure of price, which should not be higher than the ones set within the system.
Заявки с одинаковыми ценами не принимаются.
The applications with the similar prices will not be accepted.
Шаг изменения цены 5 тин за 1 киловатт-час.
And the difference in prices should be 5 TIN per kilowatt hour.
В заявке можно поменять только цену и сторону уменьшения.
And in your application, you may change the price towards decline.
Объем заявки не может превышать объем закупаемой мощности, максимально допустимый объем мощности по точкам подключения и величину финансового обеспечения.
So the volume of contract may not exceed the capacity that will be off-taken or procured, and should not exceed the security which is provided for the financial settlement center.
Расчет цен производится в двух случаях. Это когда суммарный объем установленной мощности превышает 130%.
So, пересчет цены или как?
Нет, должно быть 130 и выше. Суммарный объем закупаемой мощности.
So
заявок.
Total offtake in your application should not exceed 130%.
Это то есть аукционные торги, если разыгрываются на 10 мегаватт, то заявки должны быть в объеме 13 и более мегаватт.
So if, for instance, the bid is for 10 megawatt, the application should be 13 plus megawatt.
Также одним из условий должно быть участников не менее 2 участников.
And for auction to be valid, at least 2 applicants should be in the system.
В случае невыполнения вышеуказанных условий, то мы закрываем торги.
So if these requirements are not met, the auction will be deemed invalid.
Не производим расчет цен.
So we do not estimate any prices.
И объявляем торги несостоявшимися.
And we announce the bids invalid.
Что касательно условий по поводу 130 объема спроса, то это не касается по BOS.
So as for the requirement on 130% of demand, this is not applicable to the projects on biorenewables.
В связи с тем, что в прошлом году в аукционных торгах по BOS была малая заинтересованность, министерство в этом году сделало послабление именно для этих станций.
And as last year there was no much interest in auctions on biogas renewables, this year the Ministry of Energy provided some incentives to raise some interest.
У нас 27 ноября будут аукционные торги с документацией.
So on the 27th of November we will have the document-based auctions.
Они немного отличаются условиями аукционных торгов без документации.
Which has some difference as opposed to the auctions without documents.
Победителю аукционных торгов в документации предоставляется пакет документов, стоимость разработки которой он должен возместить расчетному финансовому центру в течение 30 календарных дней с даты публикации реестра.
So the winner of the auction with the documents should reimburse the costs to the financial settlement center within 30 days.
С пакетом документов вы можете ознакомиться на нашем сайте, он уже размещен.
You can familiarize yourself with the package of documents on the website. It has already been posted.
О содержании этого документа я не буду подробно останавливаться, так как предыдущий представитель ПРООН уже об этом рассказал.
I will not dwell upon the content of this package because the UNDP representatives has shared this information already.
Аукцион с документацией у нас он будет следующий сайт разыгран на 50 мегаватт.
So the document-based auction will be for 50 megawatt.
Что касается финансового обеспечения заявки, то для аукционных торгов с документацией она составляет 5000 тенге за 1 киловатт.
In terms of financial security for the auctions with document, it should be 5,000 тенге per kilowatt hour.
То есть это равняется тому, что 250 миллионов тенге должно быть внести для обеспечения финансовой заявки.
And this means that
250 миллионов.
250 million tenge should be deposited in order to back up your application.
Объем установленной мощности заявки должен равен объему закупаемой мощности, то есть 50 мегаватт.
So the installed capacity should be equal to the capacity obtaken, that is 50 megawatt.
По итогам аукционных торгов с документацией будет только один победитель.
For the document-based auction, only one winner will be contracted.
Главный критерий – это минимальная цена.
With the main criteria to be awarded the lowest price.
Так, по итогам аукционных торгов определяется цена, объем закупаемой мощности и победитель.
So the auction should result in the lowest price, the volume of capacity required, and the winner.
По итогам аукционных торгов формируется реестр победителей аукционных торгов и публикуется в течение часа на нашем сайте.
And as the auction is closed, the relevant list of the contractors will be compiled and posted on the website within 1 hour after the completion of auction.
Как я до этого говорил, после того, как мы публикуем реестр, направляем министерство этот реестр. Министерство на основании этого реестра в течение 5 дней с момента получения от организатора реестра включает победителей в план размещения объектов ВИ и перечень энергопроизводящих организаций, использующих ВИ.
And after this information about the winners is posted, the Ministry of Energy within 5 days puts these winners into the plan of projects based on renewables, and also put them into the list of the generating electricity generating entities based on renewables.
Ну и затем победитель должен в течение 60 дней заключить договор с расчетно-финансовым центром.
Following which the winner has to enter into the contract with the financial settlement center within 60 days.
Во время аукционных торгов у нас присутствует 8 наблюдателей, наблюдателей в количестве 8 человек.
For an auction, we have 8 observers.
Состав и количество наблюдателей определяет нам министерство.
With the composition of the observers team is being compiled by the Ministry of Energy.
Задачами наблюдателя является это проверка целостности конверта списка заявителей с финансовым обеспечением.
And the tasks for the observers is to check the integrity of the envelopes with the document-based auctions.
Наблюдение за действиями организатора торгов.
They also supervise the action or inaction of the auction organizers.
Наблюдением за процессом проведения торговой сессии, определением победителя аукционных торгов.
And they also supervise the way this session is organized and how the organizers are behaving in the course of the session.
У меня все, спасибо. Ждем в аукционных торгах.
So I'm done. So we're looking forward to see you in our auctions.
One of the main requirements that should be provided by investor for the auctions is the financial guarantee. So today we have the representative of Financial Settlement Center, Ms. Amira Akhmetova. She is the head of planning division, and she will give us an understanding about the features of obtaining financial security and the conclusion of the contract with the winner of the auctions.
Добрый день, уважаемые участники вебинара.
Good afternoon, dear participants of our webinar.
В первую очередь я бы хотела поблагодарить организаторов сегодняшнего вебинара, это Казахинвест и PwC, за возможность выступить сегодня перед вами.
First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for the given opportunity. These are namely Казахинвест and PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Моя презентация будет о финансовом обеспечении заявки на участие в аукционных торгах и финансовом обеспечении исполнения условий договора.
And my presentation will be about the financial security for the application in the auction and for the subsequent enforcement of the contract.
В целях отбора компаний, имеющих финансовую возможность реализации проекта ВИИ в Казахстане, законодательством Республики Казахстан в секторе ВИИ предусмотрена необходимость предоставления финансового обеспечения в расчетно-финансовый центр.
So, in order to select the contractors for the implementation of renewable projects in Kazakhstan, has the provision that the applicant should have the financial security that is deposited with the financial settlement center.
Что же нам необходимо знать о финансовом обеспечении?
So what do we need to know about the financial security?
Финансовое обеспечение выпускается в виде банковской гарантии и резервного кредитива и являются безотзывными.
So the financial security can be in the form of the bank guarantee or irrevocable letter of credit.
Выпускаются в пользу расчетно-финансового центра.
And these guarantees should be issued in the name of the financial settlement center.
Выпускаются в тенге.
Those should be in tenge.
Выпускаются по системе SWIFT.
Under SWIFT conditions.
Должно пройти процедуру авизования в банках партнеров расчетно-финансового центра.
And this bank guarantee or letter of credit should be advised.
Комиссии и расходы, связанные с финансовым обеспечением, в том числе и банк-получатель, оплачивает заявитель.
And the fees and charges that banks may incur due to the bank guarantee or letter of credit should be shouldered on the applicant.
Финансовое обеспечение выпускается по форме, размещенной на нашем сайте rfc.kigok.kz.
And the financial security template can be found on the website of our company, rfc.kegop.kz.
Финансовое обеспечение у нас бывает двух видов: финансовое обеспечение заявки на участие в аукционных торгах и исполнение условий договора.
So we have two types of financial security: one for application process, so application for auction, and the second security is the guarantee of contract.
Финансовое обеспечение заявки на участие в аукционных торгах составляет установленную мощность для аукционных торгов без документации и 5000 тенге на киловатт установленную мощность для аукционов с документацией.
So the security for auction is 2000 tenge per kilowatt hour for rated installed capacity without documents, and 5000 tenge per kilowatt hour of installed capacity with documents.
Срок предоставления финансового обеспечения составляет не позднее 2 рабочих дней до даты торгов.
And the deadline for the security to be provided is no later than 2 work days before the auction starts.
Срок действия финансового обеспечения заявки на участие в аукционных торгах составляет не менее 150 календарных дней с даты аукциона.
And the validity of the financial security should be at least 150 calendar days after the auction.
Финансовое обеспечение исполнения условий договора составляет 10 тысяч тенге на киловатт установленной мощности.
The financial security for the contract enforcement is 10,000 tenge per kilowatt hour of installed capacity.
Данное финансовое обеспечение предоставляется в РФЦ в течение 30 календарных дней после подписания PPA контракта.
So this type of financial security is provided to the Financial Settlement Center within 30 days after the signing of PPA agreement.
Срок действия таких финансовых обеспечений для каждого типа.
There are respective validity periods for the security depending on the type of power plant.
Как указано на сайте, для солнечных электростанций не менее 25 месяцев, для ветровых и биоэлектростанций не менее 37 месяцев, для гидроэлектростанций не менее 49 месяцев.
As it is stated on the website, for solar, it should be 25 months, for wind and bio, 37 months, and for hydro power plants, 49 months.
Финансовое обеспечение заявки на участие в аукционных торгах и исполнение условий договора предоставляется от банков-резидентов и банков-нерезидентов Республики Казахстан.
And the bank guarantee of financial security for auction participation process and for the contract enforcement can be provided both by resident and non-resident banks.
Правилами организации проведения аукционных торгов определены рейтинги банков в иностранной валюте, ниже которых расчетный финансовый центр финансовое обеспечение принимать не будет.
And the rules specify the ranking of banks that issue the bank guarantee or letter of credits in foreign currency, and if the ranking is lower, then such security will not be accepted.
В случае, если вы выпускаете банковскую гарантию в банках резидентов, то схема будет следующей.
So if you will issue the guarantee with Kazakhstan resident banks,
в первую очередь инвестор проверяет рейтинг банка, выбранного на соответствие рейтингам, указанным на слайде.
So first of all, the investor will have to check the ranking of the bank against the ranking parameters which are posted on the website.
В случае соответствия рейтингам, указанным на слайде, банковская гарантия выпускается банком-резидентом.
So if there is a match of requirements or criteria, then the bank may issue the respective guarantee.
И направляется в один из банков-партнеров расчетно-финансового центра на процедуру авизования. А на данный момент это два банка, АО «Форте Банк» и Банк Центр Кредит.
And then the guarantee should be issued, and the name of the financial settlement center with the partner bank who will be advising bank. And to date we have two partner banks. These are joint company Forte Bank and Bank Center Credit.
Для банков нерезидентов процедура немного иная.
For non-resident banks, the procedure is slightly different.
Для банков нерезидентов у нас существует две опции. В случае, если банк нерезидент имеет кредитный рейтинг ниже указанных на слайде.
So for non-resident banks, we have two options. If the non-resident bank credit rating is lower than is what is specified on this slide,
то выпущенная таким банком гарантия должна быть подтверждена контргаранtiей банка-резидента Казахстана.
The guarantee that is issued by this bank should be reconfirmed by the counterbank here in Kazakhstan, by resident bank.
И затем должна быть подтверждена одним из банков-партнеров РФЦ, Форте, либо БЦК банк.
And then it should be reconfirmed by one of the financial settlement center partner banks, which are Forte Bank and Bank Center Credit.
В случае, если банк нерезидент имеет кредитные рейтинги выше указанных на данном слайде.
In case the non-resident banks has credit rankings which are higher than those specified on this slide,
то процедура по выпуску контргарантий банкам-резидентам опускается, и такие гарантии сразу направляются на процедуру авизования в один из банков-партнеров РФЦ.
Then the issuance of such a контргарантия не нужна, да?
Нет.
So in this case, the counter guarantee is not required, and the security can be immediately submitted to the advising bank of the financial settlement center, one of two advising banks.
Следующий слайд. Финансовое обеспечение заявки на участие в аукционных торгах возвращается в двух случаях.
So the financial security for participation in the auction can be returned only in two cases.
В случае, если участник аукционных торгов не стал победителем,
one case is when the applicant has not been awarded a contract.
И в случае, если победитель аукционных торгов заключил договор покупки с РФЦ и внес финансовое обеспечение на исполнение условий договора.
And the second option is when the winner has entered into the agreement with the financial settlement center and provided the security for the contract enforcement.
В случае наступления одного из этих двух случаев, то расчетный финансовый центр целиком и полностью возвращает вам финансовое обеспечение на участие в аукционных торгах, не взимая никаких комиссий и удержаний.
If one of these two is triggered, then the Financial Settlement Center will return the amount deposited for the participation in the auction without any charges whatsoever.
В случае, если победитель аукционных торгов уклонился от заключения договора с РФЦ или не предоставил финансовое обеспечение на исполнение условий договора, то расчетный финансовый центр удерживает финансовое обеспечение.
If the auction winner avoided entering into the contract with the Financial Settlement Center or did not provide the second security for the contract enforcement, then the Financial Settlement Center will retain this amount.
В случае условиями возврата удержания финансового обеспечения условий договора является следующее.
So the situations or the cases when the amount of security for the contract enforcement may be reimbursed are as follows.
При реализации проекта ВИЭ в Казахстане существует два дедлайна. Это предоставление уведомления о начале строительства монтажных работ и акта ввода в эксплуатацию объекта ВИЭ.
So there are two deadlines which are important for the project implementation in Kazakhstan. First is the deadline of beginning of construction works, and second deadline is the commissioning of the power plant.
В случае своевременного ввода в эксплуатацию объекта ВИЭ, расчетный финансовый центр целиком и полностью возвращает финансовое, не взимая никаких процентов и удержаний.
So, in case of timely commissioning of the power plant, then the Financial Settlement Center will return the amount deposited for the contract enforcement without charging any interest rates or fees.
В случае, если вы нарушили первый дедлайн, то есть не своевременно предоставили нам уведомление о начале строительства, это 6 месяцев после истечения 12 месяцев для солнечных электростанций, 18 месяцев для ветровых и биоэлектростанций, 24 месяцев для гидроэлектростанций, то РФЦ взимает 30% от суммы финансового обеспечения.
So, if the first deadline was violated, the failed to provide the notice after the expiry of 12 months notice for construction of the solar, 18 months for the wind and bio, 24 months for hydro projects, then the Financial Settlement Center will 30% of this security.
В случае, если вы нарушаете и второй дедлайн, и не своевременно вводите свою станцию в эксплуатацию в сроки, указанные на слайде, то расчетный финансовый центр взимает оставшиеся 70%.
If the contractor fails to meet the second deadline, so the commissioning was later than the deadline specified on this slide, then the Financial Settlement Center will retain the remaining 70% of the amount.
В случае, если вы не нарушаете первый дедлайн и своевременно предоставляете там уведомление о начале строительно-монтажных работ, но по каким-либо причинам вы не предоставляете вовремя акт ввода в эксплуатацию объекта ВИЭ, то расчетный финансовый центр удерживает 100% от финансового обеспечения исполнения условий договора.
So, if you do not violate the first deadline on the notice on the construction works, but you fail to provide the relevant documents of acceptance or handover certificate, then the Financial Settlement Center will retain 100% of the deposited amount.
При этом указанные сроки могут продлеваться на 1 календарный год в случае предоставления вами справки с надзорного органа о том, что ваша станция построена на 70% и более.
And these deadlines can be extended for 1 calendar year subject to the notice to the relevant supervisory authorities that your facility is built 70%.
В случае наступления такого случая, то 1 год будет предоставляться за счет 15 лет PPA-контракта. То есть в таком случае расчетный финансовый центр будет покупать электроэнергию не 15 лет, а 14 лет.
And this year of extension will be included into the 15-year PPA contract with the Financial Settlement Center, which means that the offtake will last not for 15 years, but 14.
Договор покупки электрической энергии, PPA-контракты, заключаются по типовой форме, утвержденной Министерством энергетики, и имеют следующие пункты.
So the PPA contract template is designed by the Ministry of Energy and consists of the following provisions.
Заключается только с победителем аукционных торгов.
So the PPA contract is concluded only with the winner of the auction.
Заключается на 15 лет.
With the tenor of 15 years.
Предусматривает ежегодную индексацию аукционных цен.
It also has provisions on annual indexation of the auction prices.
Дает возможность поэтапного ввода в эксплуатацию объекта ВИЭ.
It also provides for the opportunity for a stepwise or stage commissioning of the power plant.
Предусматривает рассмотрение спора в арбитраже при МФЦ.
And also it has provisions on dispute settlement under the arbitration of Astana International Financial Center.
Ключевыми обязанностями сторон по PPA-контракту являются.
So here you can see the key obligations of the parties under the PPA contract.
То есть расчетный финансовый центр обязан заключить договор покупки с победителем аукционных торгов на 15 лет.
So the buyer, which is the Financial Settlement Center, is obliged to enter into the PPA for 15 years.
Оплачивать продавцу, то есть инвестору, за весь объем произведенной электроэнергии ВИЭ.
Then to pay to the producer for the whole volume of electricity generated.
Вернуть финансовое обеспечение на исполнение условий договора в случае своевременного ввода в эксплуатацию объекта ВИЭ.
So return the deposited amount for enforcement of the contract in case the facility was fully accepted.
И предоставлять ежегодную индексацию цен.
And then to provide annual indexation of prices.
Продавец, то есть инвестор, обязан своевременно ввести в эксплуатацию объект ВИЭ.
The vendor, or in this case the investor, shall commit to commission the facility on due time.
Построить электростанцию с использованием нового генерирующего оборудования.
To build the power plant with the new power generating equipment.
Предоставить покупателю финансовое обеспечение на исполнение условий договора.
To secure the buyer with the deposit for enforcement of the contract.
Возместить расчетному финансовому центру стоимость подготовки проектной документации в случае, если вы участвуете в аукционе с документацией.
To repay to the Financial Settlement Center the cost of design documents in case the applicant participates in the auction with the documents.
Спасибо за.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Zamira. Dear participants, please keep asking your questions. We are waiting for them, and we will answer by the end of the session. Striving to improve the engagement to renewable energy sector in Kazakhstan, Investor Guide for Renewable Energy Projects in Kazakhstan was elaborated. So today we have Ms. Bayan Abulkairova. She's a Deputy Chief of Party US8 Power the Future Regional Program, who actually did this great job. So Bayan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ali. And thank you, PwC and Kazakh Invest for organizing and for inviting for this webinar. Dear participants, thank you for your interest to renewable energy development in Kazakhstan. Let me briefly introduce our USA Power the Future Regional Program. and present the main structure of Investors Guide to Renewable Energy Projects in Kazakhstan. Next slide, please. Power the Future regional program is implemented in 5 countries: Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. We started at the end of 2017, and we will be active until September 2021. The main target of this program is to improve a legal, regulator, technical, and financial framework for renewable energy investment increase. The program is implemented by Tetratech. It is a leading consulting engineering company based in US, California, which has 400 offices around the world and more than 17,000 employees. Next slide, please. With regard to renewable energy activities in Kazakhstan, we were involved in many different activities, many with cooperation with donors, with international financial institutions, with government stakeholders, and in particular with renewable energy auctions. We work together with stakeholders on development of auction rules. We developed the IT platform system for the which is using today for auctions. Then we work together on power purchase agreement improvement, on considered off-taker creditworthiness issues, and we developed last year a renewable energy investors guide for implementation of projects in Kazakhstan. In parallel, our separate group of consultants is working on power sector master plan development for Kazakhstan. And using this opportunity, let me invite you on the 1st of October in the premises of Kigok. There will be a discussion of the final version of the final draft of this power sector master plan, which was developed like using the least cost approach, least cost generation planning approach, and with modeling tools like Ordena and Dixisland Power Factory. For more details, you can contact me later via email, so I can provide more detailed information about the time and the place of the workshop. Then, in parallel, separate consultants are working on renewable energy integration to a grid system, to power system, considering dispatching issues, capacity limitations, network sustainability. Again, the modeling tools are used like Plexus and Dixisland. The issues regarding renewable energy generation focused in on technical standards for renewable energy equipment are considered under this block of activities. And active involvement of Financial Settlement Center, National Dispatch Center, and Kigok is these agencies are actively involved in this work. We also developed a renewable energy study course on the basis of Almaty University for Power Engineering and Telecommunication. This work was done together with international consultants and Central Asia experts from universities. And currently, we are introducing this course to other countries. For example, in Kyrgyzstan, in Uzbekistan, and in Kazakhstan, this course was already introduced and implemented in the study program of universities. Of course, all this work is done in parallel with workshop capacities, building events, and different regional cooperation and knowledge sharing events. Next slide, please. With regard to Renewable Investors Guide, as I mentioned, last year we developed 2018 version, but this year in 2019 we updated this version, this document, the Investors Guide, and the structure includes the following chapters. The first is overview of renewable energy development of Kazakhstan. Then information about renewable energy auctions, the rules, the procedures. Then all the requirements of power purchase agreement are presented in Chapter 3. Chapter 4 covers land issues like water use and all the like survey work permissions requirements. Then grid connection procedure are presented in Chapter 5. Then preliminary project procedures and design. The guide also includes the construction and installation of works, all information about these processes, and this including the state registration and commissioning of the renewable energy facility. And also the guide also includes the testing and operation requirements of for renewable energy facilities. And at the annexes, the sample documents translated into English, and I mean we have both the version Russian and the English are included, attached to the guide. And in next slide actually includes all that information which was already informed by my colleagues during this webinar. And the version of 2019 includes updated statistics on the renewable energy sector for 2019, results of auctions of last year auctions. It includes schedule for auctions for this year auctions, and all changes in auction procedures and rules. It includes also new site-specific renewable energy auctions procedure. And it also includes PPA amendments, already mentioned about arbitration and stepping rights, and the sample updated PPAs are already also included. This guide can be downloaded at our ptfcar.org website, and also can be downloaded, as I understand, on the website of Financial Settlement of Energy, Corem. Their websites all have this guide, and please, if you have any questions with regard to this document or some details, you can always contact us through email. Next slide. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bayan, for your kind contribution. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to give you a short overview on main activities of Kazakh Invest in frames of my presentation, where I would like to give you information about investment preferences for renewable energy projects. So, please, next slide. So, as you can see on this slide, there are four main activities of Kazakh Invest. First one is attracting new investors. Second one is project support from the stage of initiative till closing. Third one is promotion of investment climate and image of the Republic of Kazakhstan abroad. And the fourth is a service support, meaning providing legal support for investors. On this slide, you can actually see the schematic approach that we use for attracting new investors. In collaboration with the local and governmental authorities, we consider different investment opportunities. Among these opportunities, we choose the most prominent one with a great potential. For example, last year we have chosen around more than 70 investment projects for detailed elaboration or so-called packaging. Meaning, by saying packaging, we actually what we actually do, we elaborate detailed financial model and of course, business plan for further targeting of investors. Elaboration of these financial documents we do in collaboration with the Big Four representatives. Last year, it was Deloitte and PricewaterhouseCoopers. Next slide, please. We actually, as you can see on this slide, we actually go with the project support from the stage of initiative till commissioning of the project. So we go through all the stages of investment project. Currently, in the pipeline of Kazakh Invest, it's around 185 investment projects that we actually support. So next slide, please. Our marketing department does a great job in promotion of investment climate and image of the Republic of Kazakhstan abroad through participation in investment events and international events, and of course through the through cooperation with international media as FT, CNBC, and etc. The event for this year you can always find on our website, invest.gov.kz, where you can also find the information on the investment support. One of the most important services that we also do is actually provision of legal support on problematic issues of investors. This we actually do in collaboration with the state authorities with their great support. And finally, I would like to tell you about investment preferences. It's a benefits. It's a benefits provided under the law of the Republic of Kazakhstan. It's given to the legal entities registered in the Republic of Kazakhstan who implement the investment projects and leasing companies importing technological equipment within the framework of investment projects. There are three types of investment projects that could be given this kind of benefits under the legislation of the Republic of Kazakhstan. The renewable energy sector is currently in the category of investment projects. So, as you can see on this slide, under the investment project, the company has a right to sign an investment contract under which it gets tax preferences, VAT-free import for 5 years, custom duty exemption for 5 years, and state-in-kind grant. The second category is the investment priority projects. This category, we hope that renewable energy sources in the upcoming years or this year would have a right to enter this category of investment project. In this regard, I would like to mention two types of investment priority projects, which actually differs due to the amount of investment. The first category is a setup of new equipment. The amount of investment should be around 30 million USD. Under this category, you can get a tax exemption for corporate income tax reduced by 100%, and land tax for 10 years, property tax for 8 years, and state-in-kind grant, and possibility of investment subsidy for 3 years. The second category under investment priority projects is the expansion of and renewal of existing production plants. In this category, the amount of investment should be not less than 33 million USD. Under this category, the investor has a right to have the exemption of corporate income tax, a reduction by 100%, for 3 years, custom duty exemption for 5 years, and state-in-kind grant. As renewable energy sources is not a part of special investment projects category, I would not take your time for this, but of course we can share more detailed information upon your request. Finally, I would like to mention that the total procedure, total duration for conclusion of investment contracts takes approximately 1 month. Here you can see stage by stage how it goes. Now, it was just a brief overview on investment preferences, and we can, of course, give you more in-depth understanding. In case you will have any questions, please keep asking. Now, I would like to give a floor to representatives of PricewaterhouseCoopers to know about their expert views on legal and tax issues for renewable energy projects in Kazakhstan. Today, we have with us Ms. Nazira Nurbaeva, Director of Tax and Legal Services Department, Mr. Kumarbek Berdikulov, Director of Assurance Department, and Mr. Nursultan Utkelbaev, Manager of Tax and Legal Service Department. So, colleagues.
So, hi, thanks for detailed and informative presentation. My name is Kumarbek from PwC, Power and Utilities Industry Expert. So, the government of Kazakhstan is making significant efforts to support renewable energy. There are direct support measures like power purchase agreement and investment tax preferences, and also indirect supports. One of the critical issues of any power system is ensuring stability and reliability of power supply. There is a concern that renewable energy power plants might have negative impact on the stability of power system of southern Kazakhstan, where most of renewable energy plants will be located in the future. So in December 2018, that third trunk transmission line was put into operation, connecting main coal power plants located in northern Kazakhstan to the energy deficient southern Kazakhstan. So total capacity of transmission power lines from north to Kazakhstan has been increased by more than 50%. So this risk of instability and reliability of power system of southern Kazakhstan now is mitigated, at least in the medium term. Secondly, power plants of Kazakhstan have resumed power export to Central Asia countries in 2019. Also, Kazakhstan, Russia, and Belarus have an agreed plan to create common power market in the future. So given overcapacity of our coal-fired power plants of Kazakhstan and lower cost, we can expect that Kazakhstan power plants will increase or boost power export to Russia, for instance, at good margins. That will help to improve overall financial performance of our coal-fired power plants, which actually pays your bills through this financial settlement center. That means that creditworthiness of financial settlement center also will be improved. So those additional favorable factors to develop renewable energy in Kazakhstan, indeed. So if you have any questions about power sector of Kazakhstan, please let us know. Now I will pass words to my colleagues, please.
Sultan.
Sultan.
Good afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nur Sultan. I'm a PwC lawyer, and just wanted to highlight about the main issues of investors in Kazakhstan while doing business. So actually, it is relatively simple to register business in Kazakhstan. It takes just 1 business day upon collection of the required documents. However, when deciding about the legal form, please consider about the licensing requirements, because the construction in Kazakhstan is subject to licensing, and for example, if the branch of a foreign company can use the experience of its head office for obtaining the license, but however the brand new subsidiary is not able to use the experience of its parent company. So that's why most probably you'd have to attract your partner which is experienced in construction, or otherwise you need to attract the local construction contractor. So this is the one issue there. And about in Kazakhstan, there were a lot of simplification regarding the work permits requirements and the totally owned subsidiaries of foreign companies. The chief executive officers are exempted from visa requirements, and which is the good simplification of our Kazakhstan legal requirement. And it is also worth to note about the currency requirements in Kazakhstan. Starting from July this year, the new currency requirements tell us that both the branches of foreign companies and local companies have to settle their accounts in Kazakhstan tenge. So it means that if you are opening the branch in Kazakhstan and concluding the contract with Kazakhstan companies, you need to express your contracts in Kazakhstan tenge. But actually, there is the possibility to include the indexation clause if the contract is long-term one, which means that if the contract for 1 year and more, so it is possible to link that to foreign currencies. Also, it is important to note about the technology transfer. If the technology is transferred to new subsidiaries in Kazakhstan, it is recommended. It is also necessary to register this license agreement for transfer of the technologies. About getting the land plots in Kazakhstan for construction, please note that it is given for the temporary use, and it might be transferred upon successful completion, successful operation of the power plant. Regarding the project and construction documentation, it all must be in compliance with the Kazakhstan construction standards and rules. Also, the Kazakhstan introducing European construction standards, which are Eurocodes, and they are currently coexisting with each other. And starting from 2021, the construction standards will be aligned with the European construction standards. Also, it is important to note about the power purchase agreement. Actually, my colleagues already mentioned about the strict deadlines. Please consider those deadlines. And actually, there is additional 6 months grace period if you are not being able to complete the project within the deadline. But please note that please take additional precautions to make the notification to get that grace period. I mean that if you're not being able to complete the project within for example, 2-year deadline for the solar project, you have additional 6 months, but the prior notification should be made. So actually, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah. Nazira?
Yes. Do you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Alia. My name is Nazira Nurbaeva. I'm a tax director based in Almaty office of PwC. I'd like to start by saying that tax issues are critical in making a renewable energy investment project successful. The key tax issues facing renewable energy companies that plan investing into Kazakhstan can broadly be grouped into 3 areas. Well, firstly, a proper structuring of the asset ownership should be considered to achieve maximum tax efficiencies during financing of the project, payment of dividends, and potentially exiting the project. Secondly, there are a number of taxes relating to the operating stage, including possibility to refund VAT paid during the construction period, assessing whether to apply for the investment incentives granted under a signed investment contract, about which Alia was presenting just now, or turn to other possible ways of claiming customs duty and VAT benefits that are potentially applicable to renewable energy projects under the existing laws. Well, last but not least, structuring of EPC contracts is an important area that needs to be considered, as quite often there's a need to hire an experienced multinational EPC contractor, and of course the need to develop an efficient tax structure for the offshore supply of equipment, engineering services, and construction works that, bearing in mind the transfer pricing issues, contractors' taxable presence and withholding tax issues, as well as appropriate use of double tax treaties. All these tax issues, if appropriately addressed at an early stage of planning, can significantly impact the project economics and contribute to the success of the renewable energy project. Unfortunately, due to limited time, we're not able to discuss now all key issues and solutions developed by PwC for the renewable energy investors, but we will be happy to answer your questions during this webinar or offline anytime later. Thank you.
And Alia, just maybe the last point from my side. As my colleagues have mentioned, there are a number of deadlines and a number of rules with which we should comply. So basically, maybe the main advice from our side is just to ensure that all the deadlines and liabilities are in place, just to ensure that you have a good business and you don't need to resolve any disputes.
Thank you so much, dear colleagues, for your kind contributions. It's very valuable information, and hope the investors will take this information into consideration while implementing their investment projects in renewable energy sources here in Kazakhstan. So welcome to the auctions. Meanwhile, we have some questions. So please keep asking, as we have on the the first question, I will read it now. It's in Russian. Существуют ли процедуры взаимодействия с центрами по развитию компетенции для специалистов в области ВИЭ в части проведения научно-исследовательских работ по энергоэффективности, техническому обслуживанию и эксплуатации оборудования и систем на основе ВИЭ?
Question. So, are there any procedures of cooperation with the excellence centers or the experts in renewables, particularly in terms of some research on energy efficiency, maintenance, and operation of facilities and systems based on renewable energy sources?
So, Yerlan, could you please address the issue?
Постараюсь ответить, поскольку вопрос был на русском, значит, на русском ответим лучше.
So I'll try to answer, as the question was posed in Russian, so I will continue in Russian as well.
У нас есть параллельный проект, называется «Устойчивые города», я имею в виду у нас в ПРООНе, в рамках которого...
So we have a parallel project which is titled Sustainable Cities project, I mean, under the UNDP.
В рамках которого мы, точнее, мои коллеги занимаются как раз-таки вопросом энергоэффективности и реализация таких мер в Казахстане.
And under this project, my colleagues try to address energy efficiency issues in Kazakhstan.
В том числе и повышением осведомленности и компетенций
This also includes some activities aiming to awareness raising and competence or capacity building.
Capacity building. Насколько я знаю, если там такая платформа по обмену как раз таки опытом, не могу сейчас сказать, но я думаю, что мы можем в рабочем порядке, в принципе, этот вопрос обсудить с моими коллегами из параллельного проекта.
I don't know whether there are any opportunities for experience sharing, but let me clarify this issue in a working manner, in a working routine with my colleagues, and then I will give you the answer.
В части проведения каких-то научно-исследовательских работ в области ВИИ энергоэффективности, если я не ошибаюсь, Назарбаев университет, кстати, занимается этими вопросами очень активно.
Well, in terms of research on renewables and energy efficiency, if I'm not mistaken, it is Nazarbayev University who is quite active in this domain.
Там даже есть специальные, по-моему, лаборатории в этом секторе.
To my belief, they have some laboratory which is addressing these issues.
Но мы можем, в случае необходимости, мы можем отдельно просто этот вопрос обсудить, и какие-то решения, может быть, придут.
So we can discuss this issue separately on an individual basis and offer some solutions. Thank you so much
for answering the question. And I think in case you want to have a more detailed discussion with Yerlan, you can write him on his email address, which was mentioned in his PPT presentation, which you also can download on our website. So the second question that we have, it's also in Russian. I would read it now. Вопрос представителю РФЦ. Во всех ли случаях РФЦ будет обращаться в Министерство энергетики для получения согласия на передачу спора по PPA в Международный арбитражный центр МФЦА? Или передача спора в арбитраж будет исключением?
So the question is addressed to the representative of the Financial Settlement Center. Will in every case a Financial Settlement Center addresses the Minister of Energy to seek approval for the transfer of the dispute under the PPA to the International Arbitration Center under Astana International Financial Center, or the transfer of the dispute to the arbitration will be on an exception basis?
Спасибо за вопрос. Да, в соответствии с положениями закона об арбитраже, все вопросы будут согласовываться, именно споры, рассмотрение вопросов в арбитраже будут согласовываться с уполномоченным органом, то есть Министерством энергетики.
Well, according to the law on the arbitration, so before the dispute will be settled with the arbitration, the applicant has to seek an approval with the authorized body, which is a Minister of Energy.
Thank you very much, Zamira, for answering the question. I hope we covered your question. In case you have some doubts or you would like to have more detailed explanation on this issue, please ask or write an email. Thank you very much for your question. In case you have any other questions, please write us, and you will get more detailed information on all the questions or queries with regard to the auctions or renewable energy projects here in Kazakhstan. On behalf of Kazakh Invest, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all the speakers and participants of this webinar and especially thank you to Jana for providing these translation services. I would like to thank PricewaterhouseCoopers for hosting this event, this webinar. Thank you so much, dear participants, for being a part of this webinar session on Renewable Energy Auctions 2019. And we, of course, look forward to welcome you on the upcoming auctions, which starts next week already. So have a very good weekend and hope to see you on the auction soon.
Alia, I just think that we should share that there will be a video recording which would be available.
Yeah, sure. It would be provided also on the website.
So you can.
Yes, and all the presentations and video recording will be provided on the website. So if you don't have, or your colleagues won't have an opportunity to be with us today, so please look see the recorded versions on the website. Thank you so much for all of us.
Alia, and don't forget site visiting.
Yeah. Thank you, Yerlan. And site visit is upcoming on 30th of September.
Yes.
Site visit to Turkestan region, to Shalder, for solar power plant for 50 megawatt.
Right.
So yeah, and it would be organized by UNDP in collaboration with Ministry of Energy. So hope to see you there as well.